Grammy Award-winning singer D'Angelo is dead. Angelo, who became an award-winning singer and artist under the stage name, died on October 14th.
Leaves behind. The tragedy coming just months after the mother of his firstborn, soul singer Angie Stone.
Tuesday morning, October 14, 2025. The world woke up to news no one wanted. D'Angelo was gone, including the tragic truth behind D'Angelo's death they aren't telling you. His name trended worldwide within minutes.
And just for our audience sake.
Yes.
When you...
Behind the headlines lay years of fame's pressure, addiction relapses, isolation, perfectionism, grief, disillusionment, a private battle with pancreatic cancer, and silence.
I was a no-nonsense producer. And I mean, he produced his own music.
Mark Lamont Hill's post hit first. My sources tell me D'Angelo has passed. May he rest in perfect peace. That one line felt like a punch. Within hours, People magazine and Hot New Hip Hop confirmed it. The first tweet didn't even look real. Just a few words from Mark Lamont Hill. Short, calm, and heavy. My sources tell me that D'Angelo has passed. No details, no warning. Fans froze. Some thought it had to be fake. But within minutes, the major outlets started reporting the same thing. Hot New Hip Hop posted the headline, legendary R&B singer D'Angelo has reportedly passed away at 51. Then the tributes came. DJ Premier, a longtime friend, wrote, "Such a sad loss. We had so many great times. Gonna miss you so much. Sleep peacefully, D. Love you, King." The Alchemist simply said, "Man, rest in peace, D'Angelo." Tyler, the creator, didn't even use words, just shared a black and white photo of D'Angelo's face. That said enough. By mid-morning, timelines were filled with heartbreak. Old performance clips resurfaced, flooded with crying emojis and memories. Fans shared how his music got them through love, heartbreak, even depression. Some said they grew up watching Untitled How Does It Feel on TV and thinking, that's real soul right there. It wasn't until noon that People magazine confirmed what everyone feared was true. D'Angelo had passed away in New York after a private battle with pancreatic cancer. The music world went silent. There wasn't even outrage, just sadness. Deep, quiet sadness. It turns out D'Angelo had been fighting for his life for months, maybe longer, and nobody knew. According to all hip-hop and People, he'd been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, but kept it hidden from the public. No interviews, no statements, no headlines. Just a quiet fight surrounded by family.
Success. His family says he died today after a long battle with cancer.
Those close to him said he didn't want cameras, pity, or attention. He just wanted to live out his days in peace. In a world where every cough becomes gossip, D'Angelo stayed true to himself. He was private, grounded, and spiritual. Pancreatic cancer is one of the toughest diseases out there. By the time it shows symptoms, it's often too late. Maybe he knew that. Maybe that's why he spent his last months doing the things he loved, like playing music, writing songs, and spending time with his loved ones. People around him described his final weeks as calm. He listened to vinyl records, revisited old tracks, and talked about how proud he was of his fans. The ones who stayed even when he disappeared from the spotlight for years.
Get back, all my fans that supported me, yo, I love y'all, you know?
When the news broke, that part of the story, the private battle, made it hit even harder. It wasn't just that he was gone, it was the realization that he'd been carrying something that heavy alone. He didn't want a public goodbye, he wanted a peaceful one. Long before the mystery, the silence, and the illness. There was Brown Sugar in 1995. That record didn't just make D'Angelo famous, it changed the sound of R&B forever. It was warm, funky, raw, like the past and the future meeting halfway. It spent more than a year on the Billboard charts and went platinum fast. D'Angelo was just 21, young, confident, and ready to carry soul music into a new era. Songs like Brown Sugar, Lady, and Cruisin' made him the poster boy for what people soon started calling neo-soul. He wasn't trying to be flashy. He was just being honest. Then came Voodoo in 2000. That album was exceptional. It debuted at #1 and gave the world untitled How Does It Feel, a song that's still one of the most iconic R&B records ever made. The video alone became legendary, not just for what people saw, but for what they felt. D'Angelo had soul, confidence, pain, and genius all in one voice.
And the winner is...
But after that success came silence. Fame wasn't his thing. He disappeared. No new albums, no tours, just gone. The industry moved on, but the fans never forgot. Then almost 15 years later, he came back with Black Messiah in 2014, a project that proved the King of Soul was still alive and fearless. When the world stopped seeing D'Angelo, most people thought he had just vanished, maybe lost interest in fame, or run out of inspiration. But behind that silence was a storm, a man who had given his soul to music and was now fighting quietly to get it back. After Voodoo exploded in 2000, D'Angelo was supposed to be on top of the world. The album went platinum, won Grammys, and turned him into the face of neo-soul. But it also turned him into something he hated, a product.
Hot and sexy. Yeah. Me, I guess my music, when you're trying to get hot and sexy.
That untitled How Does It Feel video, where he stood shirtless and vulnerable, changed everything. Suddenly, his art became background noise to his looks. Women screamed his name for his body, not his lyrics. He once told friends that everywhere he went, people expected the man from that video, not the quiet musician from Richmond, Virginia.
Did you have any idea that video you put out was going to cause such a ruckus?
Nah, I didn't.
That image crushed him. The more the fame grew, the more he hid. Questlove, one of his closest friends, said in interviews that D'Angelo was tired of being desired. He didn't want to be the industry's fantasy. He wanted to be respected as a musician. But the industry doesn't slow down for anyone. When he refused to play along, they called him difficult. When he tried to disappear, they said he'd fallen off.
Hot and sexy. Yeah. Me, I guess my music, when you're trying to get hot and sexy.
Behind the scenes, D'Angelo was slipping deeper into pain. His relationship with Angie Stone, once his anchor and creative muse, had started to crumble under the weight of fame and expectations. They shared love, music, and a son. But as his career skyrocketed, so did the distance between them. When that bond broke, it left a silence even his music couldn't fill. Friends said the breakup hit him harder than the public ever knew.
Once we fell in love, it almost like he had a spell on me.
By 2005, it was showing. He was arrested for driving under the influence and drug possession. Those close to him said he was struggling with alcohol and cocaine, not for thrill, but to numb heartbreak, pressure, and guilt. He went to rehab, but recovery wasn't a straight road. Sometimes he'd get better, then disappear again for months, lost somewhere between his genius and his grief. Producers like Russell Elevado and even Angie Stone talked about how perfectionism also ate him alive. D'Angelo wasn't the type to make fast hits. He'd spend days on a single snare sound, then delete it all because it didn't feel right. He wanted his music to carry a spiritual, deep, timeless feel. That's why Black Messiah took 14 years to finish. He was chasing something that couldn't be rushed, and that obsession often left him exhausted.
I was a no-nonsense producer, and he produced his own music, but I was there.
The industry moved on, but D'Angelo didn't care. He was building his world slowly, far from awards, cameras, and gossip. In interviews from that time, Questlove said he lived like a ghost. No social media, no spotlight, no pressure, just instruments, notebooks, and silence. But underneath that quiet, his body was breaking down. In his final years, the world didn't know he was sick. According to All Hip Hop and People magazine, D'Angelo had been privately battling pancreatic cancer. It explained why he pulled away again after his 2014 comeback. He didn't want pity or headlines, just peace. Those close to him said he faced the illness quietly, the same way he faced everything else in life. No public statements, no hospital photos, just faith in music. By the time he passed in New York at 51, D'Angelo had already fought several wars against fame, against grief, against addiction, and finally against his own body. What the world saw as silence was really survival. Every time he vanished, he was fighting to find himself again. And even though he didn't say much in those years, his music told the truth that behind all the soul imperfection was a man who just wanted to be free. When Black Messiah dropped in December 2014, it wasn't just an album, it was a statement. D'Angelo recorded it quietly with Questlove and a group of tight-knit musicians. The sound was raw, political, and full of emotion. Songs like The Charade and Till It's Done, Tutu talked about race, justice, and love, all wrapped in that unmistakable D'Angelo groove.
D'Angelo to this program. This past December, without any warning, the talented artist released his
Critics called it one of the best comebacks in modern music. The album debuted at number 5 on the Billboard 200 and won a Grammy for Best R&B Album. Fans called him the soul man who never sold out. That same year, he toured again. One of his standout shows was at the O2 Apollo in Manchester. Watching those clips now hits harder. He looked alive, smiling, sweating under the lights, giving everything to the crowd. No one knew it might be his last big tour.
Said I just want to be your man.
Even after Black Messiah, he stayed out of the spotlight. Occasionally, his name popped up. Talks of a new album, collaborations with Q-Tip and Raphael Sadiq, but nothing concrete. Maybe the illness had already begun by then. Maybe he knew his time was shorter than anyone realized. When People magazine later revealed he'd been quietly battling cancer, the 2014 comeback suddenly felt like a farewell, a final thank you to the fans who never stopped waiting. By the time Hot New Hip Hop, People, and All Hip Hop confirmed his death, tributes had taken over the internet. DJs played marathon sets of his music. Artists shared stories of how he'd changed their lives. Tyler, the creator's black and white post, went viral not because of words, but because of what it represented: respect. For more than 2 decades, D'Angelo gave soul music something rare: honesty. He didn't chase hits or trends. He created worlds with bass lines and heartbreak. He made you feel something deep, even if you couldn't explain it. His journey wasn't perfect. It had long silences, struggles, and personal battles. But in the end, that's what made him human. That's what made the music real. As of now, his family hasn't released an official statement, but sources close to them say he wanted no fanfare, no cameras, no chaos, just peace. His songs still play across the world: Brown Sugar, Lady, Really Love, Untitled. Every note reminds us of the man who carried an entire genre on his back, then quietly bowed out without asking for anything in return. The tragic truth behind D'Angelo's death isn't just that he's gone, it's that he fought, suffered, and gave us beauty right up until the end, and never once asked to be seen doing it. He didn't die seeking fame. He died the same way he lived, quietly, soulfully, and on his own terms.